Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Joe, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item is the agenda. And there are no changes to the agenda. So, I just need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the April 18th agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of the March meeting minutes, approved setting June 13th, 2018 as the budget hearing, approved selecting Holly Troxell to represent the district as bond counsels, and approved purchasing 22 metal signs welcoming visitors and directing them to enter using the main entrance and to register at the office. The cost, it's listed there, is not correct. It's probably half of that. That's kind of what we know at this time.
Right.
So, what's your pleasure with any of those things?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda.
Who seconded it?
Joe.
Oh, Joe. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Is our BPA guy still waiting for people?
He should come in and do his own report.
He was just out there by himself, he didn't get with me.
Is he here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting out there, but the kids aren't here yet.
Maybe we can have Dan's ordinance.
Should we go again?
What?
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to.
All right, I'll kill some time here, stall for those guys.
Okay.
So we got a donation another donation from the Bureau of Land Management, 13 desktops, 7 more laptops, and they've also got 20 more monitors coming for us as well. So this is helping to there's a couple strategies going forward right now. One is we're gonna need to replace the units that are down in the elementary lab. So we're gonna try and do that through all of these machines that we get donated. And with the next year, we're going to, through this CTE program, we're gonna have the Adobe Academy to go along with that. And so we're gonna need extra workstations for specifically that. So I'm kind of putting that all together to kind of keep our costs down on all of this. With our new school information system, we did an initial upload of our data for them to go through and test, and we got a list of things we need to go back and start sanitizing and getting fixed. So currently working on that. We have the training is all ready to go. I've built training in Google Classroom for the teachers and all the back office staff. So all they have to do is get, just like the students do, they get their class code, they go in, and we can track who's been going through the training, and so that we can get that all completed. We're far enough ahead in the project timeline that we could expect, I'm going to put that link out there later this week for the teachers at least to get started. But we'd like to see that stuff get completed by the end of the year, and then we'll have kind of some refresher training when we get back into school in the fall for it to go, when we finally go live at the first day of school. So we are on target right now with that. The website, we're having to take a little bit different direction with that. I'm going to meet individually with each one of the stakeholders, and then I'm going to have to take over the redo of that because there's quite a bit of technical in the back end. As it turns out, it's not as end user friendly as they had made things out to be. So in order for us to get a clean move over, I'm gonna have to spearhead that one and add that to the list on it. So more to come with that. The other one I want to talk about is I worked with Mrs. Morgan. We're put in for the Nez Perce grant again this year. We need to flush out the rest of the iPads that are coming close to end of life, so we put in on that grant for 20 iPads, 20 cases, and a cart, because the cart that we've been using actually belongs to the 21st Century program, and we need to get them back their equipment. So we're going to try and get that purchased through the Nez Perce grant, and we'll see what happens on that. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got for this month. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Superintendent's report.
Actually, I got something.
Oh, okay.
Trustee.
Okay, trustee report, okay.
Last week, the 400 policies weren't available, and the 1,000 policies weren't available. Apparently, whoever keeps them out there in Never Land lost them. Do we have a backup, a thumb drive or something, where we have a copy of that, you know, that you could use to put them online for when somebody like me needs them?
Yeah, what happened last week was, the 400 to 1,000 just up and disappeared off the site. Now, I know that I did get an email 2 days prior to that from our providers saying that they were moving stuff in the back end. And so I'm guessing some of that might have got lost in translation. So as soon as I was made aware that they were missing, I went back out to post them, and it took 4 or 5 tries just to get one of them back up. So there was definitely something going on there. We have all of the board policies as I have them, are all out in Google Drive and on our team drive with the district office. So it sits out there. Again, these are the ones that I have. I have the original Word document, board policy, the boilerplate, and then I also have the superseded documents, and then the current PDFs are actually sitting out there. And as changes are made, what I do is I go in and make new PDFs, recompile them, and then repost them to the website. So.
Okay.
So as of now, is it everything back up?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Any other trustee requests or reports?
And Steve, if I'm hearing you correctly, you would like them put on a thumb drive?
Or something, you know, that, so that he could, you know, they were available.
We'll look into that, see if we can get you one.
Okay, anybody else? All right, I guess superintendent's report.
You wanna do BPA?
Oh, BPA.
We're ready.
You ready?
Mina couldn't be here with us tonight, but I'm just gonna pass this out and then we're gonna let Megan talk a little bit. Appreciate you guys seeing us.
Kim and I can share.
That's good.
Yep, go ahead.
So I am going to BPA Nationals along with Mina, and I qualified on Torchworks, which is a point system, and it's like a ton of community service and a bunch of other things that you do based on like friendship and things like that. And then Mina qualified for legal office procedures. She got first in her
Legal office procedures.
she got first in it. So that's what we're going on, and we know you guys have been generous in the past, and we just hope to keep that going.
Yeah, the kids really appreciate any help that can be given to them. What I've given you just a breakdown of the cost that they're facing. Megan will film in a little fundraising that we've done already and plan on doing.
So we're doing, at the silent auction, we got auctioned off for 3 hours of any work they wanted us to do. I'm not sure who got us or what we're doing yet, but we did that. And we're doing a table raffle, and that's going pretty good.
I don't know if anybody's seen the raffle, but some of the Sandino friends are have made a table, a dining room table. And it's really neat. I think we have it posted on Facebook. And there's a picture at the high school, and the kids are selling raffle tickets for those. That's going well. Let's see, they're planning on having the car wash
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a car wash.
on the 28th.
Oh, the 28th. And then there's the
Weather, hopefully weather permitting.
Then
At the high school?
It'll be same where it was last year. It'll be right in front of the fire station in Kendrick. The fire station is kind enough to donate some water and stuff. Donate some water. Donate space, I should say.
It's a big
what were
donation.
our other
Movie night.
what?
The movie night.
Oh yeah, we're gonna. Last year we did a movie night, and like we just show a movie and have concessions open for like a $5 entry fee or something like that.
Mhm.
And
$5 a kid, and we'll have it in the gym up on the big screen. And we showed Moana last year.
Yeah,
And I don't think they've decided what they're going to show this year. So.
yeah. There's a
And
few.
table raffle, auction, car wash, and movie night.
So what are you asking the board to do?
We're asking the board. I have a total there for registration, hotel, and airfare for the two girls. We're asking for any donation the board feels is helpful. In the past, as you guys know, in the past the board has picked up the tab, and the tab this year is quite a bit less than it has been in the past. Just want to point that out. But any amount of donation or any help to the kids would be appreciated.
Is the fundraising money going towards like meal and spending money? Is that what that is?
Yes, every year after the state competition, we drain the BPA account. Mainly because on mine, I don't feel state kids that don't qualify for nationals, they probably shouldn't have to, so we actually don't start our fundraising until after we know who's qualified for nationals. So everything that they raise will help them get to nationals in whatever capacity, whether or not we need that to pay for hotel and airfare, or that's allowed for per diem spending money.
So it goes into a fund for next year?
No, goes into a fund for the girls to split. So any money that they raise is split between the two of them, and they get to take that. I think the auction wasn't as lucrative as we had hoped. I think they cleared about $100, $90 at the auction. The Lions Club has offered a small donation as well. And as far as the table raffle and the car wash and movie night, has yet to be seen.
So you're looking for a shortfall of about $2,000?
Yes.
What I'm seeing here.
Yes. Or any help.
Need a motion and a second? And a board vote.
What's your guys' pleasure?
I'd like to see us support it. However, if you guys end up raising quite a bit of money through some of your things, if it can be less than what's here, that would be great.
Mhm.
I understand that spending money is important and all that, but if you end up getting a nice substantial and it isn't this much, it'd be great for us to pay less, but I'd like to support them traveling.
Absolutely. And
the nationals.
before we take off, we can give the board or the superintendent the exact amount, how much we've raised, and whatever you guys feel appropriate after that.
I'll make a motion that we cover the cost of the trip.
Second.
These costs, the $2,136.68.
Yes.
Everybody understands that? So it's been moved and seconded that we cover the cost, $2,136.68 for the two girls to attend BPA Nationals at Dallas, Texas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
You do have to come back though and tell us how it goes.
Deal.
It will be on the agenda for the next board meeting.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
You'll be on it.
Thank you, I appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much.
See you guys.
Bye.
Okay, now I'm back on track here with the
Right.
superintendent's report.
Superintendent's report. The first thing on my report is just a reminder that on Wednesday, the 9th of May, which is 3 weeks. 3 weeks from tonight, or today. We have breakfast planned at the high school at 8:15 in the morning. We'll visit classrooms. We'll go up and see what progress has been made on the football lookout. What do you call that thing?
Crow's nest.
The crow's nest. The new crow's nest, which really isn't a crow's nest, it's more like an observer's booth now. We'll go and look at that and then come over to the elementary school where we'll visit classrooms on the 9th and have lunch with the kindergartners. And we'll be done by about 11:20 in the morning. So we'd like to encourage all of you to plan for that and to participate if you possibly can do it. Shooter detection system video.
Want to turn these lights on?
At least one bank, maybe even both.
Is that good?
That's great.
North Providence Police and community leaders came together today for the test of an important new safety system.
The system uses indoor shot spotting technology that can identify when and where a gun is fired, and today's drill simulated a shooting inside a school.
Eyewitness News reporter Kim Kalutian has more on today's test from our newsroom.
It's technology the creators say they hope their clients will never have to use, active shooter technology. And now North Providence is the first town in the state to put it into their schools. This is just a simulation. Blank rounds being fired by a trained police officer inside an empty North Providence High School on Tuesday afternoon. But if this heart-stopping situation were real,
Shot detected.
a new active shooter detection system would immediately notify city and school administrators and police.
People under extreme stress often cannot provide exact locations, and perpetrators move quickly. The Guardian system sends real-time intelligence with the exact location of an active shooter instantaneously to our officers, allowing them to find and neutralize the threat immediately and without tragic delays.
The technology uses both audio and infrared detection systems to determine where exactly shots are being fired in real time. These sensors mounted on walls detect the gunfire and alert police.
Those detectors will transmit a gunshot and alert our dispatcher within 1 second.
North Providence Mayor Charles Lombardi says it's a $260,000 investment paid with money from a settlement with Google. Soon, the mayor says the technology will also be installed in the town's public buildings.
I'm excited that we have it, and just continue to pray that we never have to use it.
And while the system is already in place in the high school, Lombardi says the installation should be complete in the other school buildings in the coming weeks. In the newsroom, Kim Kalunian, Eyewitness News.
I think that's it. Okay, the reason why we showed you that video is that we have been invited to participate in a luncheon with Fisher Systems Incorporated. They have developed their own shooter detection systems. They've invited all of the school districts around us, Region 2, to participate in this luncheon, which will take place at the Quality Inn in Clarkston on May 17th, which is the day after our next board meeting. at 11:30 in the morning. I'm planning to attend. I have negotiated to take one board member with me. I'm sure they would be happy to have as many as could go. The $260,000 system cost that was mentioned in the video, of course, wouldn't apply to a district our size. So, and I'm assuming that we've been invited to this presentation because the price of this system would be affordable for a school of our size. So it'll be a very interesting presentation. Is anyone here interested in going with me on that day?
Should Steve go with you?
I was thinking that, can you both be gone?
You take both your administrators out of the district together,
Or even Dan.
or Dan.
Dan.
Dan could go.
Yeah.
Maybe Dan and Steve should go, since it would be something that would be implemented during Steve's
That's true.
leadership.
Yep. So, do you want to go? I'll stay home.
That works for me.
Okay. We'll plan on that then, and I'll contact the person I talked to make that change. And would you also plan to go, Dan? Okay. The next item is sixth grader perfect attendance. And the sixth graders that have perfect attendance so far are Harley Heimgarten, Mason Kimberling, Morgan Silflo, and Haley Taylor. These students are in line for Rogers Toyota sponsored bicycle. They do that for our area, and we hope they keep going with their perfect attendance because 3 of the children are right.
This side of the room.
Right there.
Parents of 3 of the children are right here. We'd like to encourage perfect attendance for the month of May.
They're pretty motivated by it, so.
Probably best if Mason would win, so the other 3 could, feel better about it and still be friends.
Oh, I think the girls will, they're pretty, they don't want Mason to win. They would rather win themselves. They're competitive.
Idaho's top school districts have been named in a published article. In Region 2, our district was actually 4th, not 3rd, as I had reported earlier. The districts that are ahead of us in Region 2 are Moscow School District, which was number 1. Cottonwood School District was ahead of us. And also White Pine School District was just barely ahead of us. But it's quite an honor to be named among the top schools in the state. Our actual number statewide, I'll get that for you.
32.
Number 32. Yes, number 32. White Pines was number 27. Okay. The next item is the What's Happening newsletter, which is in the back of your packet. You can read that at your leisure. We're still holding at 142 students. And that's my report for this evening.
All right.
Dr. Park, and I don't know if this is where you talk about it, you had mentioned that you were gonna talk about some safety things that you had
Yes.
addressed this
Yes.
meeting.
I plan to attend a statewide,
Okay, so next month,
well, actually, yes, I'll
okay,
continue to update
okay.
as we go forward on what we're doing. But I wasn't able to attend that conference because it had been booked out.
Okay.
So the very next day after our last board meeting, I called to register and found that it was already booked out.
Alright, so maybe just even if you guys can discuss a little bit of what you had already found out, or if we can just get a recap for Julietta
Okay,
for that next month.
we'll have that ready to
Great.
go next month.
I know you already met with somebody and gave us a report about the high school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the same individual didn't come down to the elementary school?
I don't believe so.
No, just at the high school.
Okay, Steve.
Okay, we are at 88 students right now. Our April students of the month were Colby Anderson and Eliza Olson. Our music students attended the music festival today. You've already mentioned that. Is there anything you wanted to add?
It was just a wonderful festival, all of District 2, and we got to listen to several groups, and our kids presented themselves very well. They musically were top notch, and they behaved and were respectful, awesome kids. So I'm just very, very proud of them, and they did well. Yeah, and it was a really well-run, good festival, great judges, lots of good comments, so we all learned something today.
Thanks. We have prom coming up this Saturday at the U of I Best Western. We are combining with Deary again, but also combining with Genesee and Troy as well. And that runs from 8 to 11 on Saturday. We have spring sports going on right now. We've had a lot of games canceled and rescheduled. Right now our challenge is just getting all the games in before districts, and it looks like the weather's changing, so we should be able to do that. We've got districts coming up in the second week of May for baseball and softball, and at the end of April for track. The football booth construction has started. I took pictures, but now it looks a lot different from when I took the pictures at the end of the day yesterday, so I'm just going to show people here. You guys can pass that around.
Today's picture.
Yep, that is today.
Okay, I thought maybe the windows would be bigger.
Oh, you know what? They are bigger.
Okay.
They are a lot bigger. I'm not sure why it looks like that right now.
Okay.
The openings are actually a really good size. The entire, there's two sections. It's 20 feet total. There's two 10-foot sections. The windows span the entire 10-foot section.
Oh, okay.
I talked a lot about the windows, so Joe might have just been messing with me. I don't know.
So he probably
There's
just
like you have
nailed
to jump to
the
see
plywood up there.
Yeah.
Didn't cut a hole. Didn't cut the hole yet.
Yeah, that's not what the windows look like. That's all I have. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Guess we're into the financial report, so let's talk about the bills. moved and seconded that we approve the bills for March. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Further financial report.
Okay, the yellow sheet shows our fund balances, where we are in each of them for the month of March. Everything is looking good. We're wrapping up spending, we've still got that building, the observation booth, and that should be finished in about a week. So this month, we should know what is spent there. And, everything's looking good. We've received our February payment, which is the largest payment. In August, we receive about 31% of our funding from the state. November, 12%, but February evens it all up. It takes our mid-year support, which is our attendance, up to November 1st. That's why it's so critical to really watch our calendar, create our calendar around big events that would take away student attendance, because that's really what we're paid on. So, we've received about 88% of our state funding. In May, we'll receive 10%. July, we'll receive the last 2%. We still have, in July, to receive our other half of our taxes. So we're looking pretty good. I mean, we're spending well, but we've still got revenue coming in, so that's a good sign. I've been working quite a bit with the bond refinancing, and they're very good at what they do. And I'm pretty much clueless. I'm just, they have to explain a lot of this stuff to me with what's going on, because they're moving pretty fast. And, but here's the calendar of events. This that is in red there. They'll keep you up with what's happening. They're still trying to sell those bonds by May, which I hope they do, because it's really critical with timing because of where the interest rates are. Not this Friday, a week from this Friday, the 27th, Christian Anderson is going to give us a conference call with Lindsay and I, and he's going to kind of bring us up to speed with how everything's going. The underwriter, which is George K. Baum, he gave us the best bid, and he's talking about a 9%, and that's really where we wanted the refinancing to be. But they're really an unknown company. They really want to get their foot in the door. So Christian double-checked with their underwriters and said, are you sure that this is where you're gonna come in? Because they were about a percentage higher than the rest. And they said, yes, we are, everything looks good, and we're confident. So, guess we'll see. And I guess if things don't pan out the way we wanted to, we cut them off, I guess. If interest rates go crazy, there's a lot of little things that could go wrong, but we'll just keep forging ahead and see where we end up. And I think we're in very good hands with Zions Bank and with this George K. Baum. I Googled them, and they're pretty big in Colorado, California, and Utah. Salt Lake is where their banking is what it looks like. So, Christian doesn't have really any problem with them either, so I think we're good. Keep our fingers crossed. That's about all I have, unless you guys have any other questions.
So at the end of May, we should be done with this, have the new bonds and the old bonds called? Or does that?
Yes, that's in, it all happens with the perfect storm.
Okay.
I was surprised that, when we had 6 people bid on them, at first there were people saying, no, it's too small for us to bid. That was what we were getting back from the RFPs. Then all of a sudden, all these 6 people came in with a bid. And they're ones that you would expect to come in. You know, D.A. Davidson, Piper Jaffray, they do a lot of school bonds. So I kind of think the smaller the amount, I think you could get rid of them quicker and easier. So, I don't know, but I'm not experienced in the bond refinancing, so.
Okay.
Looking good at this point.
Mhm.
Cool. So is that it for your report on this?
Yes,
Okay,
unless
thank
you
you.
have any questions.
Okay, the next item is Morgan's position, right? Approve or disapprove creating a part-time KHS assistant principal athletic director position. Steve, do you wanna talk about that any?
Oh, I don't know if I need to anymore. I mean, just so you can kind of wrap your head around what that would look like. Morgan would have basically a traditional schedule, but he would have a couple periods blocked out, like an AD period, and then one period for like a dean of students type, admin type period, and then 4 classes in a prep period. That's what it would look like. It's not, you know, you kind of word it and you say like a vice principal or something, but it's not really a full vice principal position. It's really kind of a period is what it is. And then the AD position, of course, is new, but that would be the other piece of it.
Is there any other comments anybody wants to make about it?
So as far as the AD, that you're still gonna split the funds if they get, or is that just kind of up to them, how they want?
Well, you know, what we've been doing is I've taken that AD stipend and I've given portions of my stipend to, you know, I give a portion to Rod to do some different things, and I gave a portion to Morgan this year to do fall just game duties. The plan, if it's approved, would be similar. Rod would maintain his duties that he has, which is essentially like rosters and some of the scheduling, and then the other piece would be the bulk of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So would you share the game duties, or is that all his?
Well, it would be like it is now, like it's the AD to do the game duties, but then sometimes we farm some of that stuff out.
So is it a true .5 then?
Is what a true .5?
The admin position, is it a true .5, or will there, like you said, he has 4 periods a day?
Mm-hmm.
And
No, it's not
7.
exactly .5, no.
Okay, so, okay.
So you have to come up with a.
Well, I think that, you know, Melissa's been talking about, you know, just doing that, and Lindsay emailed me today about it. You know, maybe the best way to structure that would be just to keep a normal teaching contract and then do a separate stipend, for those duties. So I think you're right to do it that way.
Okay.
Are we gonna discuss this evening,
Yes.
the calendar?
Yeah, that's on the agenda.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve that position.
I'll set it up.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve creating a part-time KHS assistant principal athletic director position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approve hiring Drew Agers as the school counselor for next year.
Did I speak to that last?
Yeah, I think you did.
Did I?
I think you said
you
he
did.
was.
Just
he
a
was-
little,
Just
because
a little,
you guys
but you
had
didn't really
just,
say
you
much.
had just met.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think I just.
So we had a committee, we had a couple applicants for counselor. We had 3 applications. We had 2 applicants that we interviewed. And Drew stood it out as a really good candidate.
His local roots too, doesn't it?
Yep, he's from Deering. Both of our candidates all three of them actually that applied, the two that we interviewed, have bachelor's degrees, and they are going back to get that counseling certification, so it would be hired on a, an alternate authorization. Counseling is, based on my conversations with folks in the certification office, counseling is the most common position to use an alternate route. There's just not counselors out there.
University of Idaho, Boise State, neither one of them have counseling programs, so there isn't anyone in the pipeline here in the state of Idaho.
Right.
So Drew will be going through an alternate route, and he'll be taking classes to get that. I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for, to get a traditional certification with that endorsement. And he has to make progress and complete that in a 3-year period to continue that, is how that looks. A lot of people, from what I'm being told, a lot of folks are going through Adams State out of Denver for this program, because that program is a little bit unique in that it allows teachers to accrue their practicum hours on the job at the schools, where some programs, I guess, don't do that. And so it seems to be a popular program. And it sounds like they, I think, are in for a rental schoolhouse, so. And I can keep going. And his girlfriend has a degree in early childhood development and is interested in applying for anything that might come open in our district, if it does.
So is there a motion? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we hire Drew Eggers as school counselor.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded that we hire Drew Eggers as a school counselor beginning next year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Okay, we're into the policy. I guess I'll turn it over to Shelby.
Sure. If you guys wanna go through, we can, but there were very few changes that we made on these. In fact, most of them didn't have much in the italicized version anyway. So a few little deletions. Otherwise, they were pretty much as stated. We were able to get through them in a pretty short amount of time this policy meeting. And any questions? We probably spent the most time talking about, remind me of that policy. For FMLA, we had to choose a structure to, if somebody were to request leave, what kind of structure you would use to determine that 12-month period that they can take that leave in. So that we probably spent the majority of the time on that.
So we need a motion to approve waiving the second reading of the policies.
Move we waive the second reading of the policies.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we waive the second reading of the listed policies. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now we need a motion to approve the policies that are listed there.
I make a motion we approve the policies as listed.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the policies listed in the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we're down to the school calendar. So you're up, Joanne.
Okay. Well, we're, that time of year, this is a daunting task actually, to try to put a calendar together. The district leadership team has a protocol now that we've came up with and we follow. I don't know how many of the board members know that process. I'm just gonna give you a little idea of what in November, we start the whole process. And we start looking at high impact attendance days, talking about professional development needs, looking at other districts' calendars, see how they do things, create a survey for the staff. Also collect verbal input from staff, we start talking about it. In December, we had a stakeholders meeting with, Steve came, Melissa came, and we have extra staff members, certified and classified attend, parents attend, and collected input from them. And then in January, we start taking all of that information we've collected and start putting some drafts of calendars together. So we did that in January and February. We didn't have a meeting in March, and so we were a little later this year getting this together. And we did create 3 calendars. We created an A calendar, which looked very, very similar to what we have now. Same bell schedule, pretty much everything the same. The A, just the dates shifted just a little bit. And then we created a B calendar.
On the backside, the B calendar.
Yeah, the B calendar has 10 minutes added to the high school day for student contact, so that could then those minutes could turn into a couple of days to take off the table to go down to 172 student days. A couple of the reasons why we did that, we were hearing from staff and that they would like to have the whole week of November off. Well, how do you make that happen? We also looked at attendance data for that week. We usually have those 2 days, and then we have the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off for Thanksgiving. That's how we've been doing it. It varied from the last several years. Some years it was only like 4% that week that kids were absent, and then it was as high as 11% on 1 or 2 of those days. So it is kind of that, it could be a high impact or not. So that was taken in consideration as well. We did create a C. We took that one totally off the table after the voting. But the C had the 10 minutes and a later start and going into June further, because that was some of the input that we had heard that staff and parents at our meeting and others were interested in. So we created the 3 drafts. I sent them out to all staff, classified and certified, right before spring break, and the voting came out. There were 4 votes for A, there were 12 votes for B, and there were only 2 votes for C. And so at our meeting last week, we just decided to take C totally off the table. We as a district leadership team decided that we are going to honor the voting of the staff members, and our first recommendation is calendar B, and then our second would be A. I do want to, so that's our recommendation, just so you know, but I do want to express some concerns that the classified staff did make on the calendar issue with the 10 minutes and the 2 less days for them. So that would impact bus drivers and probably the cooks, and then also some of our elementary staff as well, classified, that are paid hourly.
So those people would basically be losing 1% of their pay.
Well, they'd be losing, yes.
Okay.
And that was their big concern, that they would lose those days. It is our hope that they can be compensated for those days. Several of them wanted, classified from the elementary in particular, wanted to vote for B. They liked having that calendar, but they were very concerned that they would just get cut in pay and it would be a way for the district to save money. That's exactly what came out of some of their mouths. They were worried that they wouldn't be fairly compensated, where everybody else would be, that could either salaried or have student contact days. They were very concerned, and even one changed votes from B back to A, and the others just didn't vote. But they expressed that to me, they were concerned. So I felt like I needed to be here tonight so you could know that there are those concerns.
Can I ask though,
Yes.
was it made clear to them that this wasn't developed by us, that this was
Yes.
because the teachers wanted more time on it?
Yes, I mean.
So if there's any
yes.
frustration that it's not coming to the board, because this is
Yes.
not, so I was
Yes.
thinking if I could
Yes.
just make that
No,
clear, that,
right.
with that group.
And I believe, and Steve, you can talk to this too. I believe that the staff knows that the district leadership team are the ones that created this. And
And the reasons why they
and the
created it?
reasons why, and the people that expressed those to me, I talked to them personally, and why we created it, and you know, and that we represent it, and I'm just gonna give my personal opinion. I really would like to see our classified wages go up in general. I don't think they get paid near enough. They work hard. They do a really good job. They work great with our kids. And it's my sincere hope that if B is accepted, that they will be fairly compensated for those 2 student days. It's, you know, it's of course, it's out of it's in your hands, but that's my personal hope. And I just felt with the voting, we still had to go with, because we're representatives of our people, so that's what we decided. Yeah.
Can I
Any
make
more
a
questions?
comment
Yeah.
towards the compensation for hourly employees? Because they are under hourly regulations from the Department of Labor, we pay them for the hours they work. And so I think that there shouldn't be a problem with other teacher days that just teachers work, that if they do, that it could be an opportunity for them to either get more professional development or them to do additional things that they don't have time for to make up for those 2 days. Was that talked about as an option?
Yes, and, yes, we had talked about that too. It's kind of a half of one, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If you sit and look from their point of view, and, I see all the certified staff just getting those days off, and I know I'm not making a case for calendar B. But, you know, I'm as classified, and I see everyone just getting those days, not having to come in extra than they normally do. That leaves a really bad, if I was a classified, that would leave a bad taste in my mouth, I think. But
It is hard to have so many different
It's
types
hard.
of employees and.
It is. It's not an easy thing. Building these calendars is not easy. It's a lot of discussion and thought and goes into them. And we try to take all those things into consideration. But we built these calendars on the input from the staff, and the voting then is and not every single person voted, but this is what came of it.
And if I can just
Yes.
make one more comment, just as a working parent, it's a lot of time at the holidays, you know, and I don't know other parent circumstances. I can't take 3 weeks off from November to
Right.
December. So that, are we
Right.
putting a
Well-
hardship on our student families? And I don't know what kind of representation we had. I know you had some parents
Yes.
there, but I'd really like, if we test either of these, that we really get some feedback
Yeah.
for future, because I know in a lot of circumstances, that's a lot of time to ask for off.
There again,
Or-
it's probably about 6 of one, half dozen of the other. We had people that said, and we have staff with children in other districts and that line up and have the whole week off. So there's that problem, and then we do have families that use that as a vacation week. And then we have families that can't take those extra days. So there again, you're gonna have both of those situations.
And how many parents were on the committee when you guys?
There were two.
Two?
Yes.
Were they elementary and high school?
Yes. Yeah, we had, well, Lori Warner, she's got both. And then, Frank Newman's mother, oh, it's not coming to me. And then, we had Callie, Manful, and, oh, I'm trying to think who all we had, I'd have to look it up.
She has to do well because she has children.
Yeah, and she has children, and then classified, Deneen came classified, Connie Hedler from the elementary. Steve was there, Melissa at that meeting. And then we also sent the surveys out to all staff, not just certified, but all staff members as well. Yeah, it's a tough one.
It was a long discussion, the last
It
meeting.
is, it's a long discussion, and it's not an easy situation.
Well, we appreciate the time that you guys spent on it. I know it's hard, and you try to please everybody. I just wanna make sure that we really take into account, the staff calendars and the days they want off with their family are important, but we have 200 students that, I just wanna make sure it was represented fair.
I do know that other districts do have minutes, you know, either longer days or what, to accommodate those kinds of things. So days off or professional development things. So it's not unusual to add minutes to create days. Other districts do it. So it's not, I mean, we haven't done it necessarily, but it is a way to, and that's why it was created. But anyway.
And on both draft A and B, I just wasn't sure, is graduation the last day of school for both schools? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, really the only thing that's different is the 10 minutes and those 2 days in November.
On the 10 minutes, I go, through town about, they vary, but, 8 o'clock or something. And I always thought it was funny at the high school, like the buses were there, and then you don't start for a long time.
They're all
And
filled.
so I don't think it would hurt anything to start that 10 minutes earlier.
It doesn't hurt, really. We talked with Alvin, and he thought the bus schedule was perfectly fine, not to have to fiddle with the bus schedule. Charlotte did say, oh, you might be pushing me with those 10 minutes for breakfast, but I think that the kids that drive and eat breakfast could manage to get there a few minutes early if that's the case. The buses are all there and plenty of time for breakfast for those high school kids.
We could also
kids.
look at, besides looking at like the beginning of school, you can look at passing periods too.
Yeah, and it can be added kind of.
There's different things you can do,
Yeah.
like our passing periods. We're at the mercy of our bell system, so I'd really have to look and see what we can do there. I mean, in an ideal world, our passing period would be shorter, but I think the next increment we can go down is a little bit too short. So I would have to look at that, but.
You could start 5 minutes earlier and take 5 minutes off lunch. I mean, you can do it at a
There's
combination.
different things you
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
If you do the math of it, the 10 minutes per day adds more time than what 2 days is considerably. So we're increasing our student contact time by adding 10 minutes by quite a bit. So there's plenty of room there in case we have like emergency closures and so forth.
No, really all but the bus drivers,
It
are going to get 10 more minutes a day. And like you said, it may add considerably more time for classified
I don't know
as
that
well.
the bus drivers well, I don't think their schedule would change according to Alvin.
No, she's everybody but the bus driver.
Everybody but the bus drivers.
Oh,
is
but
gonna
the
get
bus
time.
drivers.
Right.
Well,
That's
at the
not-
high school,
At the high school.
Well, the elementary's already gone the 10 minutes. So we've already seen the benefits of the additional time.
I know, but then the classified down here though.
Mhm. But it's the same thing, if they're adding 10 hours to their day, or 10 minutes to their day, you multiply that
They're
by the number
not.
of days.
But the elementary schedule,
Well, sure, if they're working with students, everyone who works with students. So the only issues would probably be the bus drivers. And like you said, even Charlotte, it has to get
so
going 10
you're
minutes
saying they're
earlier.
already getting paid for those students?
Yes. Probably more if you think of 170 plus days and you give 10 minutes to each day, you know, you're talking almost 4 days, aren't you? If you do the math.
Yeah, it's more than, more
Mhm.
than 2 days, but,
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's kind of tricky.
well, I was gonna say, cause I don't, you know, they,
Well, they're working with students, so if they're with the students and they're starting with the students and ending with the students, that should make a difference in their day. And I think it does.
so
Yeah,
you're, yeah,
And like Lori, I assume there's no break in her pay, is it? She's with the kids on the bus and then,
right, hers
so
would
it
be,
wouldn't affect her.
well, yeah, cause she's with Cole, I don't know how that works, I don't know
Yeah,
how,
so I
if she
mean,
adds
there's
those,
a lot
all of those minutes.
lot of variables here.
Well, there is, but if you're with students, it's people who are classified that aren't with students that will probably not get that time.
Okay, that, I know, just kind of dropped the bombshell on your lap, sorry.
So you guys are recommending B?
Well, yes, I still feel like we need to go with the vote of, you know, that's who we represent, so.
Thank you.
So whoever makes the motion, needs to include A or B in the motion to approve or disapprove the 2018-19 school calendar.
So would we be more popular to go with A? And not have it affect A, or would it be more popular to go with B and go with the majority?
I do not even want to speculate. I don't know that there's going to be a
We're gonna-
happy answer.
We're gonna make someone unhappy,
I
is
think
what you're
somebody's
saying.
gonna be unhappy one way or the other, yeah. But I did, when I sent the email out, I did say, it will be a board decision, and we will, you know, it's still up to you, and so the staff knows that.
I'll make a motion that we go with draft B to be the school calendar for 2018-2019.
Well, I will second it. So we have a motion before the board. Our school calendar will be, for the 2018-19 will be draft B. You guys ready to vote? All those in favor, raise their hand. All those opposed? Motion carried. So draft B will be our calendar for next year. And so that's for the action items, and now little board training. Dr. Park?
We have two topics, bullying and the First Amendment student rights. And so, if I may, I'll just walk you through that. These are both by Jill Holinka, who works for MSBT Law. Bullying is characterized by aggression used within a relationship where the aggressor, or aggressors, has more real or perceived power than the targeted student, and the aggression is repeated or has the potential to be repeated over time. That's a classic definition of bullying. Second bullet, bullying can involve overt physical behavior or verbal, emotional, or social behaviors, and can range from blatant aggression to more subtle and covert behaviors. And the last bullet, cyberbullying, can include offensive text messages or emails, rumors, or embarrassing photos posted on social networking sites or fake online profiles. And what Jill has provided for us are the classic definitions of bullying that you should be aware of. And then on the backside of that, First Amendment. Students do not shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate. However, the individual constitutional rights of students are balanced with the legitimate interests of the school. Thus, if there are circumstances that warrant a reasonable fear by school officials that certain speech will materially and substantially disrupt classwork and discipline in the school, or violates the rights of others, it could be prohibited. There probably isn't anything new there. And that's our training.
Oh, thank you. The last item on the agenda is going into executive session. We need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
It's seconded by Steve. It's a roll call vote. Kim, would you call the roll?
Dawn.
Aye.
Steve.
Yeah.
Shelby. Jack.
Aye.
Joe. And it has been approved that we'll go into roll call.